HR issues can kill you. One complaint against your company can turn your world upside down. And you spend way too much time dealing with HR when you should be spending your time on making a profit. You should talk to Bambee. With Bambee, get access to your own dedicated US-based HR manager starting at just $99 per month. They get to know you and your business while providing HR expertise and the personal touch you need and want. They're available by phone, email, and real-time chat, so onboarding and terminations run smoothly. Team members reach peak performance, and your business stays compliant with changing HR regulations. And with Bambee's HR Autopilot, you'll automate important HR practices like setting policies, training, and feedback. HR managers can easily cost $80,000 a year, but Bambee starts at $99 per month. Schedule your free conversation today to see how much Bambee can take off your plate. Go to Bambee.com right now and type in Accelerate under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Spelled BAM, BEE.com. Bambee.com. Type in Accelerate.
Somewhere out there, there's a man on a park bench eating his 500th PB&J. He has no idea Papa John's has new Papadillas that are way better than a boring sandwich. With Papa John's best meats, cheeses, and veggies hand-folded into a crispy flatbread crust. Someone better tell that man. Get a new Papadilla in one of 4 flavors for just $6. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's. Not valid with discounts, fees, and taxes. Extra prices may vary.
Welcome to Accelerate Your Business Growth with your host, Diane Helbig. Diane is a leading small business development and leadership coach, author, and speaker who is passionate about sharing valuable ideas, tips, and techniques with business professionals worldwide. Diane brings you the world's experts and gurus in all things business. Whether it's sales, structure, social media, planning, or plateauing, guests bring their expertise and energy to each episode. When growing your business is your focus, Accelerate Your Business Growth is the show to listen to. Got a topic or guest suggestion? Let Diane know. The goal is to make sure you have the information you need to move your business forward. Thanks for joining us. Settle in and enjoy.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me for another special episode of Accelerate Your Business Growth. Today I'm joined by Daniel Ramsey, founder and CEO of MyOutDesk. MyOutDesk is the highest rated virtual assistant company in the marketplace with hundreds of 5-star reviews and over 12 years of experience, serving more than 5,000 clients, including over half of the RealTrends top 10 teams. Daniel just authored a new best-selling book, Scaling Your Business with Mod Virtual Professionals, with a mission to help small and medium-sized businesses scale and grow. And Daniel is joining me to talk about how we thrive in this new remote workplace that we find ourselves in. So thanks for joining me today, Daniel.
It's my pleasure. And isn't it a crazy world? Everybody's working at home now.
It is so bizarre, I know. And all these people who thought, A, that they never would, and B, that they would never have their staff work from home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. and they're all doing it wrong. That's the funny part about it. I've been talking to a lot of my entrepreneur clients and friends, and I'm excited about this call because I think we're going to really add value to people who are in that work from home space and they weren't ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most people these days. Okay, so let's start with mindset, if we could. So I think there's probably a particular mindset that a CEO has to have in order to lead in a crisis like this. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to just acknowledge everybody who's listening right now. If you are a CEO, right now is probably most likely one of the most challenging times in your career. Personally, I've been through this is the fourth downturn. But the difference is all of the others, there was warning, so you could plan. You know, you knew it was coming, and it went over 3 and then 6 months and then 9 months. And then you had time to put strategic plans in place and kind of zig and zag and make the changes that you had to. And you had time. This is nothing like that. The last 3 that I've been through, and it happened overnight and it was quick. And CEOs right now are very hard pressed with the mindset stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's so out of, the norm, right? Like I have a client who said the day after Ohio shut down, they spent all day at the computer store getting computers for their staff, getting them to their houses, right? Getting everybody set up. I mean, so for a good couple of weeks, all they were doing was logistical sorts of things.
Yeah, and you couldn't find laptops.
Yeah.
I had a friend who went out and bought like 30 Chromebooks, and he's like, I literally got the last 30 in the entire area. And I was like, how'd you do that? He's like, he sent 4 of his people to like 7 different stores, and then they just went and bought them, you know. So I think, you know, we were strapped as CEOs. We were looking for, you know, computers, basically laptops, and as people, we were all concerned with their toilet paper. So
right. And you couldn't get that either.
And now we're worried about our meat supply. Although I stocked up, so I think we're good for steaks.
So my grocery store finally got it all figured out, and you can schedule a pickup about 4 days out. So where before you just everyone they were totally booked. Okay, so it sounds to me like the part of the mindset that a CEO has to have is resourcefulness and flexibility, right? That they have to sort of take a deep breath and say, okay, we're in it. Now what do we do?
Yeah, and I think everybody's been playing catch up. So, I mean, so step 1 is just adjusting to the new normal, right? Whether it's buying the Chromebooks or toilet paper or stocking up on meat. That's the same, that emotion that we're all feeling. It's the same thing that all of your employees are having. So step 2 is, besides being flexible and adjusting to the new norm, is just having empathy. You know, we have employees who have had, in our case, we've had a 12-year upturn in business. So we've spent 12 years of being high on the hog, is what I would say. So employees who hadn't had to be super accountable, hadn't gone through a downturn, hadn't had to focus on sales and keeping clients and getting new clients. And, you know, we're getting awesome 401k matching. And most of our, even internally, our clients, they've only been through the upswing of a market. They haven't been through what it's like to ride on the downswing. So you have to have a bit of empathy going into this, and extend that empathy and give your people a lot of time to catch up. One of the things that we did immediately was change our value proposition as a company. And this kind of turns into the CEO's mindset is, you know, our original value prop, or our call to action was, hey, we want to double your business with high caliber talent, right? We're a virtual assistant services company. So when our CEOs come to us, it's like, hey, I need more salespeople, or hey, I need more marketing people, or hey, I need somebody to help with admin, so my best people can focus on growing the business or doing these projects that are going to add value. So normally our kind of offer is, hey, we're going to help you double your business. You know, it might take us a couple of years, but you hire us, we'll staff you up, we'll get your best people working on the most important stuff, and we'll watch you grow, right?
Right.
But in Corona times, as I like to say it, we had to switch our value prop. So we have 2 new ones. One is going remote, and the other is thrive, which is what, you know, you and I are talking about today.
Yeah. So this is such a great point, that you really do have to look at your business and say, what is the value of it in this environment, right?
I can tell you right now, the gal that cuts my my wife's hair, she just was texting back and forth with my wife, and she's like, "Look, I'm doing house calls. You're going to pay me a little bit to come to your house, but I'm going to cut your hair. I'm going to cut my kid's hair. I'm going to get a haircut." You know how I almost didn't care what the price was because she's coming to us, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
in this, and you know, you could see my hair. It's long. It's rather long. 45 days in this world, you know. I was about to break out the shears and do it myself.
Yeah, I
So
did.
yeah. So you have to think, you know, one of our clients is has some Mary Maids franchises. Well, guess what? They're no longer
Yeah.
they're no longer cleaning houses. They're the certified COVID-19 office cleaning crew. You know,
Very good.
my wife over the weekend went to a distillery and bought hand sanitizer.
Right.
You know, like restaurants are changing, and part of the CEO mindset is you have to remember we exchange value for cash.
Yeah.
And now we're in a new world, and if you continue to do things the way you did, you know, even 2 months ago, you know, you're going to go the way of the dodo bird. So we've got to update what our value proposition is as a CEO, as a leader. And that means really keeping in mind, you know, you're not going to completely retool your business. I'm not all of a sudden going to sell something other than talent, right?
Right.
The people that want my talent, they're going to be a different crowd. They're going to be a different group. There's going to be winners and losers in this new world. And part of the CEO mindset is let's go after the winning opportunities out there.
Absolutely. This is such a key point. I did a video a couple weeks ago called Rethink Your Value, or Value Shift or something. And that was exactly what it was about, that we have to look at not the thing that we do, but the value that it brings, and ask ourselves the question, who is it valuable to now? And is there can I modify it in a way that the value exists now, where the situation may have altered that, you know,
Yep.
for me. And that's, that is absolutely a huge part of the CEO mindset. Absolutely.
Well, and we just had the second round of the CARES Act funding land today, right? So the
Right.
SBA and all the banks are super busy. In the first round, we did webinar series where we pulled 900 people over 3 different talks through with a tax advisor, our CPA, and myself.
Wow.
And we opened it up to all of our clients, and we're like, look, what we want for you is to get 100% of the money that if you're an affected business, we want you to come through this webinar, learn everything you can so you can get your piece of this $2 trillion and keep the doors, you know, open and lights on while you do this kind of retooling or redefining of your business. And,
right.
You know, there is an actual process for that. And I think that's probably important for us to go over is how do you, you know, go through a retooling of your business.
Okay. Well, so hit the highlights. How would you suggest someone do that? I think that's very valuable.
Well, here's what we did. And a lot of people say, well, what's your suggestion or your idea, your feedback? And I really hate the people who come on shows and talk as if they know, right? I'm just going to share what we did, like what we literally have done.
Right.
And so first of all, we did the CARES Act. You know, we got people through that. Second of all, we changed our call to action or our value proposition to our clients. It's GoRemote and helping people thrive and survive in this time frame. But the process of retooling is a very simple one. I mean, there's really just 3 steps. One, it's kind of getting your people together, all of your employees, and maybe some smattering of maybe some of your advisors, maybe some of your clients. You get them all into a room and you say, okay, let's appreciate the things that we do really, really well as an organization and as a group. So you pull all your people, and maybe you have to do it on Zoom because that's a really great way to do it. And you throw them into different breakout rooms and you just start, hey, what are some of the skill sets that we have? What are the things that we're really, good at? What are some of the things that our clients say we're known for? And you start gathering this list. Let's say in our case, we had 45 people. That's kind of our operating, what we call our operating support team. We had 45 people come on. We had some vendors and some other folks that joined us. And then we randomly split everybody into groups of 5. And they were asked to appreciate our existing strengths and capacities, what we can do right here, right now in today's world. And we came up with this fabulous list of all the things as a company we were known for and really, really good at. So that's step 1.
Okay.
And then step 2 is to go, okay, based on where we are now, based on, what the world looks like today, what are some things that we can do as a company to go after a new segment of business, go after a different relationship with our clients. And really the third thing in my world is always look for ways to be, cut costs. We're in a space where as company, your CEO, one of the biggest levers you can pull is cut the stuff that isn't returning value to your business.
Right.
So, step 2 is just really get specific about who you're going to go after, what value you can bring to your existing clients, and then what kind of costs could you eliminate with having zero impact to the business. So that's step 2.
Nice. I really like this for a couple of reasons. One, it's very clear. It doesn't take a lot of prep, so to speak, right? I mean, you can just do it. But I love how you pulled all of these different constituencies in and then broke them up randomly and had them have that conversation, because it's very empowering for people to think about strengths and then hear from other people what the company's strengths are. And it definitely gives you sort of that foundation for saying, okay, now what do we do with that information?
Well, and you're spot on, because we started doing this for our clients too. So we pulled about 20, one client in particular, one of my favorite stories is we pulled these 20 independent sales individuals together into these groups. And then we just started loving on the company. And then we broke them off into teams of 3. It was a smaller group, so we did teams of 3. And what they came back with in terms of appreciating their strengths, like really led the owner to say, wow, my people understand the mission of our company. Like,
That's
I mean,
great.
it was like really magic, and it kind of gave her a little bit of pep in her step, because she's sitting here and going, I don't know if we're going to survive. I don't know if I'm going to keep these people on the bus. I'm scared about where the future is. And here she hears 20 people reiterating her core values, the mission of the company, why they exist. And it was like, it was honestly, it was a little magical.
I knew you were going to use that word.
It almost was. I mean, I could, because I went into a breakout room with her when they were doing the appreciating stuff, and I said, so how was that? What was that like? And she's like, honestly, I had a little tear. I was hearing them, and her company's thing was helping people, live their dreams, right? And that's part of their tagline. And so we came up with a new tagline that was specific to Corona times, is like what I like to call it. That really reinforced their strengths, reinforced their mission, reinforced their core values, and then also helped them along the path. Because step number 3, this isn't all woohoo, touchy-feely crap. This is no, okay, now what are we gonna do? Like, what's changed? What are we gonna do now that we know what we know? And this happened to me. I mean, I don't want your audience to think I'm crazy and just preaching. I called one of our outside sales team members, and I was talking to him, and I'm like, man, you haven't closed a deal in a while. What's going on? He goes, oh, I just kind of thought everybody was taking vacation, taking time off. And I was like, no, man.
Wow.
No.
What?
So, this is the reality, is that unless you're hyper connected and hyper committed to keeping your groups cohesive and in a space of kind of thriving in this time frame, you can have all these varied, realities of your staff, and it's not their fault. I mean, they just don't know any better. So
Right.
as a CEO, part of the mindset is that connectivity, the level of communication, as well as leading without really knowing where the hell you're going. Like nobody really knows what's going to happen. And if somebody's
Exactly.
telling you that they know what this is going to be a V or a U or a checkmate, I just listen to those guys and think, can I short that guy's company? You know, like,
Yeah.
so
I know.
that's
Yeah.
that's what we're up to right now. And I think it's a great exercise, even if you're a small business. You know, my wife last night, we're laying in bed and she was talking and we're going to do a little bedroom talk on your podcast right now,
Okie dokie.
but watch out. You know, and she and I were just kind of, you know, what I would call is like ping-ponging ideas back and forth. This could be the most powerful thing as a CEO you do, is to lock the inner intelligence and the wisdom of your entire organization by having these sessions on a regular basis.
Isn't it interesting that if we look for silver linings, which is a good idea to do, because not everything is doom and gloom, companies really have an opportunity to take a refreshing look at their business and from different angles and really identify and appreciate the things that are really good and working really well, and possibly identify things that need to change, things that aren't working so well.
Well, what I love, we have this recruiting company, and they're an outside recruiting firm. And I called him a couple weeks after the whole virus thing went down and everybody got sheltered in place. And he'd gone through a couple of our webinars, and you know, he started selling his capacity to companies, not charging them, but selling his future capacity. So when this is all over, he was fully booked. So the guy's been on a crazy sales rampage, and he's almost got half of next year booked in terms of what his company's capacity is. And these are signed contracts with various start dates, and billing is delayed. But guess what? He's got his people fully engaged,
Right.
still on the sales path, still, you know, engaging with customers, filling up their pipeline. Yeah, the revenue scenario is not awesome, but I think that's just the reality of what we're in while everybody's locked in their homes. But
Right.
imagine his business versus another, you know, staffing or recruiting firm that did nothing.
Exactly. Right. That's exactly right. So there's what are we doing now for now, and what are we doing to prepare for emerging from this, whatever that looks like.
That's
right? And we get to write some of that story.
And I like to think, you know, there's BC, which is before Corona, and
Yeah.
congratulations to anybody whose business is still in that space. If you're still there, you know, God bless you. You're one of the lucky few. And then there's DC, which is during Corona, and then there's AC after Corona.
Exactly.
And during Corona, you know, the world has changed. Restaurants aren't going to open. Gyms might not. I miss yoga. I can't tell you how much I miss yoga. I'm closing my eyes right now. If you can't see me on the radio or on the podcast, I can't tell you how much I miss, you know, going in that room and sweating for an hour and a half. But, you know, there is going to be a replacement opportunity, and the companies that figure out how to provide that, I think they're going to be very busy when this all once we get to AC.
Well, I will tell you that my cousin's daughter-in-law is doing virtual yoga classes. You know, so.
Well, they're just not the damn
I know
same.
it's not the same.
You can't go in there and sweat like 100 degrees and lose 10 pounds. But yeah, I mean, look, you know, a good friend of mine owns a gym, and she's, you know, a brand new entrepreneur, and she's a year in, and she's transitioned fully to online courses. And, you know, I was talking to her husband this morning, and he's like, we're never going to go back. We're never, ever going to go back. Yeah, they're going to be a virtual company. They're going to charge additional fees for people who want to come to the gym, because there's going to be less people and they're going to have to offset the cost. But, there's a lot of opportunity in today's market. And part of the CEO mindset is just to remember that your job is to lead, and your mindset and the CEO's mindset has to be, pretty advanced, meaning you need to
Yeah.
lead with communication, lead with what the model of the future is going to be, and help your people, with what the new reality is.
Yeah. Right. Right. You can't just put your blinders on and say one day the sun will come out and things will be back to the way they were, because they're just not going to be.
Well, and I think Diane, this is the most important thing for a CEO. Our civic duty as leaders is to stay productive. Like,
Yes.
it's a duty. I mean, number one, the way the country survives this is by, innovation. That's
Right.
what's kept us alive. That's what keeps us as number one. It's always what, and just because we're in Corona times, it just doesn't change that. We will need innovation like no else, now and in the future. So yeah, I think it's our duty to stay productive. And I think a lot of CEOs, I think there are some that are doing a fantastic job, and there's others who need to listen to your podcast.
Especially this episode.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Daniel, I really appreciate this. It's a micro conversation, but I really appreciate it, because what great ideas, and how motivating that, these are ideas that people can implement immediately. They can do them periodically, right? Just to have that sort of check-in with everybody. It is really awesome. So will you tell the listeners about, the new value proposition for MyOutDesk, and how they can find you, please?
Yeah, so we're giving away a couple things. Number one, what we're talking about here is really challenging. So, I don't want to, we've been in this for almost 2 months right now, and what I'm talking about is I've gotten slapped in the face and hit on the head, and had people in my pocket taking money out. So we've had to evolve to this, CEO mindset. So I want to remind the listeners here that, this didn't happen yesterday, right? So this has been a challenging step-by-step process. If anybody wants more support around what this looks like, all of our people on staff have been trained in this process, and they understand exactly what it takes to help somebody figure out, well, what is our new value proposition? How should I be talking to my employees? Because guess what? They've been through it, meaning I'm pulling them through this process as we speak. So not only are we helping people with remote talent and going remote, we're also helping them understand what they're going to need to shift inside their business to, be fully remote. One example is, like, you can't, be on the phone with your employees on a video chat like you and I are right now and say, hey, I got to go potty. I'll be right back. So part of our Go Remote guide that we're giving away to your audience is, some etiquette, right? If you're in the chat room with your entire company, you say bio, I'll be right back. We also have the 1 minute rule. Somebody reaches out to you, you need to respond within a minute. And I know that sounds crazy, but in remote work, that's the standard. That's how somebody knows you're actually at your desk and doing work. And if you have to go and do some thinking time, because everybody needs airplane time, everybody needs to be able to, think, then you need to tell your coworkers, hey, I'm going on airplane mode for an hour and a half. I'm going to do some strategic thinking, and I won't be immediately there to respond, but I'll be back at, 1:30. So these are some of the tips and tricks that we put in our Go Remote guide, and we're going to give it away to your people right now if you'd like.
Awesome. That is fabulous. So we will have a link for that in the show notes, so people can click on that and go to it. Is that right?
Yeah, or we can give a text code away. It's really up to you. Either way,
Great.
they can.
Whatever is easiest or best. What do you think? Let's do text code.
Well, we'll do both. And
okay.
If you're listening right now and you go to your phone and you text MOD to 31996, you'll get a copy of our free, Going Remote guide. It has everything about what we're talking about in terms of the CEO mindset, the pivot that you need to do, how you actually, what are the systems and tools to have a fully functioning 100% remote team, like
Yeah.
some of us have now. So we're giving all of our 13 years of experience away, to anybody who texts that code.
Wait, and say what number they're texting it to again?
Yeah, so you text MOD to 31996, and you'll get it's like a 12-page guide to
Great.
going remote.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much for that. And I'll make sure that is in the show notes as well.
Perfect.
Wow, so great. Well, thanks, Daniel. I so appreciate it. And listeners, I appreciate you. That's why we put this series together of these different folks with these great ideas for how to thrive through this process. As always, continue to prosper and be curious. And the curiosity is what's going to get us to where we need to be. And until we meet again on another episode of Accelerate Your Business Growth, goodbye and good day.
Whether you're buying a new car or used one, it's a big investment, which is why you should choose Pennzoil Platinum. It helps extend the life of your engine and protect it up to 15 years or 500,000 miles, whichever comes first, guaranteed. That's because Pennzoil's base oil is made from natural gas and 99.5% free from engine clogging impurities. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Enrollment required. Keep your receipts. Other conditions apply. See pennzoil.com/warranty for full details. Find it at Firestone Complete Auto Care.
The average person experiences up to 10,000 marketing efforts each day. Those ideas are culled from millions of possibilities. The CMO Confidential podcast takes you behind the scenes to learn about the decisions, drama, politics, and glory that go with one of the most scrutinized jobs in the executive suite, the Chief Marketing Officer. Guests from all over the business world join Mike Linton, a 5-time CMO, to share stories about what it's really like in the marketing universe.